I'm going to count to 3. I need you to do something for me. I want you to say, it feels good to be me. On 1, 2, and 3. That was lazy. If they said it, it feels good to be me. I need you to lift that up. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that felt good. I needed that. I'm going to tell you later why I asked you to do that. Energy is important, and I look for energy to be me. When you start your day and when you start your assignments, you need to pull that kind of energy from the people that's surrounding you. And you also need that in return. You're looking at a young lady. Well, I'm an old lady now. I'm 48 and a half, so I'm getting up there. I'm in the baby booming age. But I've been through a lot. I had a trot of troubles in my life. I dropped out of school. I had a baby at 14. I almost lost my life quite a few times, running the streets, and I just didn't think I was going to make it. I couldn't decide what I wanted to do with my life. I went to beauty school. I was a beauty school dropout. I went to nursing school because I skipped over that. I went back and got my GED, but I went to nursing school, and I went all the way through with it, and I said, I don't want to do this either. So I kept going. I worked in corporate America, and I hated that. And then I finally started seeing the light in what I wanted to do. I went and got a financial license, and I started selling insurance. And I started to like that. I was like, this feels a little better. I don't like having a ceiling over my head. So anytime you work for someone and you clock in every day, you're on their time. And I didn't like that. I'm a free bird. So I wanted to be great. I didn't want to have a ceiling. I want to feel free. And I ask myself every day, what do I need to be doing? What is it that I can do that will make me enjoy this life on this earth? So I have a way of talking to myself every morning. And I have to say, Regina, it's going to be okay. Regina, you can do this. And it's my belief that children learn what they live. So I remind myself of the hills from which I cometh, and that would be my ancestors. They influence every single thing I do. They're my influencers and my ancestors, so I call them my influesters. Don't look for that, I made it up. Here you see Roy and Mady Robinson. These are my great-grandparents. I spent every summer with them in Ackerman, Mississippi. They owned 500 acres of land. On that land, my great-grandfather, he had livestock, which is pigs and cows. They lived on a 500 acres. They had a small house on a hill in the woods, no neighbors, no street lights. There was a pathway from the back door down, deeper down inside the woods. Papa trained me to go and feed the hogs. And if you ever fed a hog, you know you have to be friends with that hog. They don't let anybody feed them. So I learned something from him, and I learned something from my great-grandmother because she made me work in the field with her. There was 15 grandkids. I don't know why I said, why? It was no sun. It was no raised garden. We had to get on our knees and dig the potatoes out. It was pleasure. I hated it then, but later it was pleasure. These two don't even know how influential they would be in my life. I could cry right now. Black people don't own 500 acres of land. Listen, we still have that land. The family can go there whenever we want to. That's generational wealth. These are my grandparents. The couple you just seen before, my grandmother, Ella Mae, her parents. And the self-employment, the ownership is passed down. My grandmother married my grandfather. They're both from Ackerman, Mississippi. My grandfather came to Chicago looking for better days, and my grandmother followed him. He was the owner and operator of 18-wheelers. He pulled steel, and he didn't work for anybody. My grandmother was a Mary Kay sales rep. She didn't work for anybody. Malty Irvin was my grandfather's father. He also came from Ackerman, Mississippi. His first business was a little bitty mobile home inside the woods. He turned it into a restaurant. It was juking. He came from Mississippi to Indiana and started buying up laundromats, houses, apartment buildings. He even owned the land at the Good Corner, if any of you know what that was. So this man made sure I owned my own apartment building at 17. Here's my mom and my grandmother, Ella Mae. My mother was too young to be a parent, but her parents kicked in and did a fabulous job with my brother and I. My mother, even though she didn't have much to teach me, but her hotsy-totsy ways, it made a great combination for who I am today. That pink suit that you see with my grandmother on, she made that. She sold all her own clothes. She made all of her own quilts. She baked everything imaginable. She was a jazzy woman. I learned so much about class and how to be a great woman from these two women here. Here, this is my first boyfriend. It's my dad. I buried him last November. He wasn't worth a quarter. He was a charm king. When I tell you, he was sharp, he kept a pocket full of money, and every time he saw you, he was pouring into you something that you could take with you every day. He always left me with something good. He always poured into me and my son and my siblings. He always left me with game. He told me before he died, because we gave him a celebration of life. He told me before he died, I don't have to worry about you. I gave you enough to live on. He didn't have money to leave, but he left game, and that was enough. Me and my son, I had him at 14. We grew up together. We were like brothers and sisters. But he knows that I'm mama. Don't ever call me Regina. It's always been mine. We have been on a long journey together, and we've learned so much together, and we took everything from our ancestors and we built wealth together. This is my king. We've been friends since 4th grade. We're married now. When I met him, he was a Jehovah's Witness. I said, don't touch me. He was this shorter than me and scrawny. of course, he filled in since then. We were kids, but he used to come to my, and do you know where you're going when you die? I said, get away from my door with that. I would never know he was going to be my husband. This man is so influential in my life. I wake up every morning needing to pull from him what I just pulled from all of you. Energy. He's everything that I need. He taught me the game of sales because he's good at it. Guys, he could sell you a dirty pair of socks. He could convince you that dirty socks is clean and you need it in your life. That's how good he is. And for who I am today, I needed everything that he taught me about sales. He became rich selling insurance and rolling over people's money. And he taught me how to do that. He's like, if you ever don't want to work for anybody, this is what you can do. And never did he lie. And so you are looking at a woman who started with nothing, stood on strong shoulders from my ancestors, and came from nothing, high school dropout, teenage mom, to a millionaire, all from the likes of my ancestors. I started a business from my bedroom, and it went viral. And it's been a wonderful ride. I'm just excited about life, and I hope that everybody I come in contact with feels that energy, and it's so infectious that you pass that along to other people. When you come in contact with people, just it feels good to be me. Even if it doesn't, if you keep saying it, it will. It feels good to be me.
All right.